Finding seashells in the Outer Banks is a very, very hot topic for our guests. When I was a little kid, I spent a lot of my time trying to find shells, and what I found over the years is that there really is a system to it. There's a system to finding shells. There's more likely opportunities, and what our guests really love here at the Avalon Beach Bungalow and all of our bungalows are some of these hand-picked whelks. Some of these hand-picked whelks that we personally found. We found all of these shells right around here. In fact, the two that I just showed you right outside of the Avalon Beach Bungalow was after a storm one day. The wind went offshore. I was getting towards a lower tide, and we just kind of pulled up there, and you can see these. They weren't hard to find at all. It just happened to be the right place, knowing the right time to go. And you could come back with a bag load of seashells. So we actually have this bag here, and it's in our shed, our amenity shed at the Avalon Beach Bungalow. And you know, we encourage our guests to take this out because there's times they go out at first rate, they're gonna get a big bag load of shells. And what I'm gonna do is show you how, or basically instruct you on how you can have the highest probability of encountering seashells here in the Outer Banks. So these are the common ones right here, and the ones that people really like are the whelks. These are whelks, and you can kind of see here there's two different types. One's a right-handed, one's a left-handed, and these are also really, really large scallop shells. Yeah, they make really, really nice decorations. You know, some people use them as ashtrays. You know, there's a whole variety of items, but basically it's just about being prepared. It's about being prepared, and the right time is this. We want to go around low tide. So we want to either go an hour and a half before or an hour and a half after low tide. What kind of conditions do we need? We need waves. We need wave action. Wave action is what kind of kicks up the dead conchs, the dead whelks. And it's also an offshore wind. So an offshore wind in the Outer Banks is a west wind. It means that the wind is moving from the land to the sea, and what's happening, it's blowing off the surface air, the surface water, the wind, the air is blowing off the cold surface water, and what's happening, or the warm surface water, and what's happening is these shells are they're starting to come through a current that's allowing them to wash up onshore, and during that low period of time is when we can see them, and it's really about being the first one there. It's not about do I have a better technique to find these. If you're the first one there, what I call first rate, you're gonna get the shells. It's basically that, and they're not hard to find. They're just gonna be sitting up there like a seagull. They might even look like seagulls. And sometimes you have to go out really early in the morning. Sometimes you go out early in the morning when it's dark, and you should bring a flashlight. You can bring a lantern. You can fire up a lantern, you know, do that deal. Or bring a headlamp. You know, bring a headlamp, and so you can kind of scour and see the area. And like I said, they're not overly hard to find. It just has to be the right place, the right time. So if you remember low tide, right around low tide, and offshore wind, and with wave action is going to be the best time. So the fall is coming up with hurricane swells. The winter has a lot of nor'easters. Those are typically the ideal times. So happy shell finding. I think I goofed that at some point.